and speaking on, these big building steps. So, he's a young local youth voice, and he is going to speak to you now, and I hope you give him much grace, Phoenix Miller.
Hi, as mentioned, my name is Phoenix Miller. I use he, him pronouns. I am a sophomore in high school, and I am a transgender man. Today, I'm here to share my personal experience with being transgender, with the hopes out there that someone out there will listen and can either identify with me or be motivated to support the trans community. I didn't know I was trans right away. Only until I hit puberty did I start feeling that something was different. I was very uncomfortable and unhappy with myself, and I had no idea why. I didn't have the words to express what I was feeling until I knew what being transgender was and what it was like for other people. For me personally, I was uncomfortable because everyone around me saw me as female, and my body reflected a female body, but I saw myself as male, and I didn't understand why it felt like I was screaming inside my own head for people to see the real me, and why no one could. I thought that being a woman was my only option. For so long, I did not want to live because I couldn't stand my own existence. A lot of people have asked me how I know it's not just a phase, or how I know I won't change my mind in the future. The answer is because since I have transitioned socially and begun my transition physically, I am not in that dark place anymore. I am more comfortable talking to and being around other people. I no longer look in the mirror and feel like what's reflected back is wrong. And I can feel joy in hearing my own voice instead of anxiety and discomfort. My body is developing to fit what my mind always has been, and other people can finally see who I actually am. This is why laws that make it more difficult, if not impossible, for people to transition are so frightening. Upon hearing the news of what's been happening to trans minors in states like Texas, I have become terrified that someone could suddenly stop my hormone replacement therapy. My body would largely revert back to the way it was, and all those feelings of discomfort and unhappiness would return. I've become terrified that people could decide to put my parents in prison for consenting to provide me with the resources that I need to be who I am. I am terrified that my future will be filled with people who don't accept me and laws that prevent me from affirming my gender identity. And I am terrified for the trans people who are already experiencing these things in other areas. To be trans is to live with the fear that your rights and your protections could be taken from you at any moment. To constantly be worried about what places may not be as accepting, and therefore what you are and are not allowed to do or express in public. To always be on guard and afraid to travel alone in case someone decides to attack you. Should a sophomore in high school have to worry about these things? Should anyone have to worry about these things? No, but we do, because that's our reality. For the people who hold transphobic views, who believe we don't or shouldn't exist, who support the laws that take away our human rights, I wish they knew that transgender people are just human beings going through human experiences, and our lives aren't worth any less just because it may look different from someone else's. There is still a lack of support for trans people in a lot of ways all over the country. At school, I don't feel safe using the restroom that matches my gender identity because I'm afraid I would be bullied or abused by other kids who don't think I belong there. I feel that homophobic and or transphobic remarks aren't being taken seriously enough, which promotes a negative narrative for LGBTQ plus people and makes people think that it's okay to be homophobic and or transphobic. I wish there were more discussions of LGBTQ plus topics in schools because that could help normalize the community for kids. If it's treated as this taboo topic that shouldn't be discussed or even mentioned in schools, it gives people the idea that it's wrong or bad and no one learns anything different. Now we come to the part of this speech that was the most challenging for me to write because it could be so easy for someone to misunderstand what point I'm trying to make. A lot of people like to turn our words against us when we advocate for LGBTQ plus discussions in school. People like to push the narrative that the few schools that do this are trying to teach their students how to be gay or transgender or non-binary. This is not what we mean when we ask for more LGBTQ plus representation in our schools. If I had known, really known, what being transgender was, and that I didn't have to live as someone else, that I had the option and the right to define and be who I really was, I would not have had to endure the years of suffering that I faced before I knew that I was transgender. If schools are allowed to be open about LGBTQ plus topics, it could benefit the kids who don't have the language yet to define their own feelings and experiences, the kids who don't understand their parents' or teachers' experiences and hear from other kids that it's wrong, the kids who think that the LGBTQ plus community is something to hate or make fun of, the teachers who don't understand what their students are going through and don't know how to help, the kids who are living in constant fear of their support and their rights being stripped from them. It could help people understand that the LGBTQ plus community is not a community to hate or fear, but a community of human beings who need and deserve to be accepted and included. To quote C. Joy Belsey, life is like a road trip. You pass by many people and many situations, and they're all different. You don't stop on your road trip to try and fix everything that you see along the way, or judge every encounter as good or bad. You only experience what you see as part of your road trip, leaving everyone and everything at that, a compassionate acceptance. Thank you for listening to me talk about one of the things that I'm the most passionate about. Have a happy Pride.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming back to the stage, give them a triumphant round of applause. Phoenix, please come back up. So wise. So wise. You are an inspiration. Thank you for being here.